Wow, Trae Young is officially a Washington Wizard. Let's break down this trade piece by piece. It came out just under an hour ago as I'm looking at this, and I got back from traveling today. It's been a busy day, but we got to cover it. I was hoping this trade would be a couple days ago where I had some more time to cover it right on the money, but here we go. Trae Young's stint ends in Atlanta. It's crazy to say. It's crazy to think about. I mean, 7 seasons for Trae Young. He's 27 years old. That's crazy to me. I remember when this guy was drafted. I remember the Luka trade, and it's crazy to say that he's going now, and he's going to be playing with this young Washington Wizards team. Now, it looks like the trade here, a lot of these details are just backstory on the team. So the Hawks are poised to turn the page with the new era with the emergence of Jalen Johnson, Alexander Walker, Dyson Daniels, Okongwu Rishiche, the most irrelevant number 1 pick in history, and a fluid play around their wings. Who knows what the heck that means? Fluid play basically means we're done with the point guard, we're done with Trae's antics, and we're going to take our chances. CJ McCollum, valuable plug and play, $30 million a year. He's about 35, I think, and it adds them financial flexibility because CJ will be on an expiring deal. But honestly, it just kind of doesn't make sense to me. They're getting back. The trade details here are Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum, of course, on the Trailblazers to the Pelicans. He played well in the Pelicans last season before he was traded. And they shipped him off for Jordan Poole kind of as a salary dump and kind of a future outlook. Maybe get Jordan Poole's value up and try to trade him at the deadline. The Pelicans thinking, not a bad trade by any means. I mean, McCollum's been playing well in Washington, but right now he's floating around the league. He kind of fits this build that no one is really after maybe in the NBA right now. It's the 2-guard / 1-guard that's just kind of a scorer, not really a defender, not super versatile player here that just is kind of mixed between 1 and 2, but again, lazy on the defense and not necessarily an offensive creator, but an individual shot creator and a good player. You know, of course, CJ McCollum can win you plenty of games, but he's not huge. And then Corey Kispert as well. He's been up and down for the Wizards. He's kind of, I think he was drafted somewhere else than the Wizards, but actually no, he was drafted to the Wizards. I think he was the longest tenured Wizards player on this team. And you look down this lineup for the Wizards, and of course, I was talking with some of my friends before, and we thought, yeah, maybe Trae, maybe this would be like the best package that the Hawks would be able to get back, but we thought picks were going to be involved at the very, very least. And you look down, and Washington didn't have to give up any of their draft capital. They get back Trae Young, who, of course, they're going to sign. I think I saw he was eligible for some sort of 5-year, $200+ million extension. So, big extension opportunity. And for Washington, why not? You know, you've got these young guys. You've got Bub Carrington, rookie last year. Trae Johnson, who was their rookie 6th overall pick this year. A.J. Johnson, a pick last year. They've got Champagnie, not particularly young, but they've got Bilal Coulibaly. Oops, get that out of here. Coulibaly, of course, Chris Middleton. He is another player on their roster, kind of a veteran mentor. Alex Sarr. It looks like Alex Sarr, Coulibaly, and Keyshawn George are kind of the three ticket players for this team, but Trae Young, his value is low. I mean, you shipped off 2 players that really aren't part of your future for a guy that can be a valuable player, a guy that can kind of be a culture builder, a leader. You remember Trae Young took this Atlanta team to the conference finals, of course, just a few seasons ago. They toppled the 1 seed and they eventually lost. But, you know, Trae Young can be a big-time player, a big offensive engine, and for a team that has struggled with consistent offense, a team that's struggled to score, I don't hate it. Now for Atlanta, I don't know how this puts you toward the future. They say it's a future-looking deal here. Corey Kispert, I mean, you look, this guy, he's 26 years old. He's 1 year younger than Trae. CJ McCollum, I think he's 35. 34, excuse me. 34. He turned 34 this year. But what's the future? I mean, Corey Kispert, he's been his best season. I think his best season was about 15 points per game here. Let's take a look down here at his seasons. Yeah, his best season was 23-24, 13 points per game, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. And he's been a consistent high 30% three-point shooter, always averaging about 10 points per game. Maybe he's a piece off the bench. Maybe he's a piece that you can kind of rotate in and out of your starting lineup. But is this guy can he really make up the value for Trae Young? You get no future draft capital back for Trae Young. Somehow they didn't get anything, and they get an old CJ McCollum who's got, I think, just a couple of years left on his contract, who's not having a bad season by any means, but it's not he doesn't have the value of Trae Young. And you get Corey Kispert. This seems like a huge loss for Atlanta to me. And take it as you will. Of course, Atlanta knows they might have more of a plan, but you look, it's like Nickeil Alexander-Walker at your 1. Is he a creator? Is he a facilitator? Maybe. Dyson Daniels is a 2. This guy, he's not really an offensive leader, I guess. He's not going to initiate your offense. He's not a big-time threat with the ball in his hands scoring. He's more of a off-the-ball guard, kind of a defensive guy overall. Ricochet, he's been okay. He's been a little bit better this season, but, well, not even really. I mean, he started out, he had a couple solid games, but he's young. He's 10 points a game. He's had a lot of opportunities. He hasn't been anything special. Jalen Johnson and Okongwu have been pretty good. Of course, they picked up Porzingis. They drafted Asa Newell, who also looks solid in the limited minutes he's gotten. But I don't know how this trade really brings you forward or makes you a championship contender or positions you well for the future. To me, this doesn't really get you anywhere. It gets you out from under Trae Young's antics. I personally would have tried to re-sign him. Maybe he has more value there when he's on a longer-term deal. Maybe not, but you got 2 players back that aren't going to give you championship-level play immediately. This team is not going to be competing for a championship. And trying to figure this out mid-season, you're looking towards next year. It's another year for some of the older guys. This just seems like a big-time loss for Atlanta. To get back no draft capital. They didn't get back a single pick. Desmond Bane got 4 first-round picks. How much better of a player is Desmond Bane than Trae Young? I don't know. I mean, are the Hawks going to try to ship out McCollum or Kispert for picks? Maybe. CJ McCollum, maybe he's worth a first-round pick. Corey Kispert, you might be able to get a couple of seconds for. Maybe I'm vastly undervaluing these guys, or maybe I'm overvaluing Trae for just a disappointing season, but it's still Trae Young. He's an all-star player, averaging 19 points and 9 assists. This is maybe the worst statistical season of his career. You look down the line here. This last season, he averaged nearly 30. The season before, 25, 28, 26, 25, 24, 19. This is the worst season he's had, not last season. His second season, 29. Last season was 24. I went in the opposite order there. But you look down, this is the worst season since his rookie year. And his efficiency has fallen off considerably this year. It's worse than his rookie year as well. His assist numbers are also fallen off big time. I think that's partially creation, partially his injury, but it's still Trae Young. I mean, this guy can be an all-star. We know what he can bring to the table. And to just get limited value and production back is a little bit shocking. I think Trae also, he requested, to go to Washington, which is a little bit funky, but a lot of people are just a little bit shocked, a little bit confused by all this for both teams. I mean, Washington, a big win, but how did they get away without giving up a first-round pick? I don't know. It almost feels a little bit like the De'Aaron Fox deal last year, where the Spurs get away getting De'Aaron Fox and giving up limited capital, limited future assets, all the above, and a team gets out from a deal and not paying a player, preserving future flexibility, but then you're left with, okay, so what? So I guess the so what is the question for Atlanta. What is this season going to look like? What is next season going to look like? They're playing better as of late, but this team certainly has, they've got a long way to go. And they're about 500. Does this team take them over the top? Are they still a play-in team? The East is wide open, of course, and maybe health can get back on their side. But first big trade of this trade deadline. NBA trade deadline is always an exciting time. I bet there will be some more pieces to fall as some contenders pick up some more capital. But that's going to do it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow with some more various sports coverage. But wow, Trae Young to the Wizards. Not something I would have expected a month ago.